faster, until the thrill of speed overcomes the fear of death. Hunter S. Thompson. This quote couldn't translate more perfectly to the feelings you experience in a race. Your hands welded to the steering wheel with a white knuckle grip, and your foot cemented to the floor with the pedal underneath it. But this quote does tend to get lost in translation when you're flying through the air and the world seems to have become inverted as you view it through your newly shattered windshield. Now, before we press on, I'm going to tell you a bit about my upbringing and how it may have influenced my actions in life to the point of putting myself in this delightful nightmare. This story takes place in Phoenix, Arizona, and is also where I unknowingly acquired my need for speed. And I got that from my father. He was not only my parent, but my best friend. We were never wealthy, so we had to make do with what we had. And yes, sadly, that means no race car. But that wasn't the end of the world. We were just fine. I remember fond memories of Pops and I eating steaks and watching Top Gear for hours on end as Jeremy, May, and Hammond, the stars of the show, did donuts and supercars on our TV screen. I was always in awe watching the amount of mayhem and destruction they would cause in multi-million-dollar cars. Envious? Yeah, just a bit. We also played a game on the PlayStation called Gran Turismo, and we would bet against each other when placing lap times. Him, money, and I chores. I started getting to the point where I would beat my father. At this point of my life, we can all agree that I was the best virtual racer on the planet. 13 years of age, beating my dad in a car game, that is it. Life can't get much better than that. Until the day I was walking home from the bus stop and I saw something alien in my driveway. 2 wheels and the sexiest color of red I have ever seen. Dad had the bright idea of getting me, the fastest human on the planet, a dirt bike. Lightning couldn't compete with my godlike speed on that machine, and it hit me then and there, my addiction to speed that I carry with me to this day. Although the ability to go fast is hands down the greatest accomplishment throughout the history of mankind, it shouldn't be taken so lightly. And that is something I learned the night I almost lost my life and risked many others. If we fast forward 3 years, I'm 16 years old and I purchased my first car, a 1993 Toyota Camry. And then to me, I finally had a race car. I finally had one. Well, if you know anything about cars, they're built for a purpose, and a Camry is no Ferrari. Late at night, after a long shift at work, my coworker asked me to have a simple street race. That is simply a request the fastest racer on the planet can't deny. The freshly paved road beckoned to consume the tread of my tires, and we lined up at the red light, patiently waiting for it to turn green. It felt like an eternity, and as soon as the street lamp changed color, the night was filled with the sound of my cheerful Toyota's exhaust. We began to round the 45-mile-an-hour bend, and I remember the feeling of adrenaline pumping through me as I was approaching 101 miles an hour. And then I heard the sound of screaming metal and blood-curdling tire squeal as all traction to the road was lost. I smashed into the curb, and my whole world was upside down. Literally. For 3 flips. My hands were off the wheel at this point, and X across my chest, bracing for the worst ride of my life. As I flew through the air and collided with a sign, the sharp edge sliced through the roof of the car and was inches away from decapitating me. The vehicle continued to fly into a series of flips, and one coming into contact with the pavement before starting the next, leaving a shower of sparks behind. I opened and closed my eyes throughout the entirety of the crash to see flying into the headlights of oncoming traffic. Finally, it was over. and I hung upside down from my seat, the car resting on its roof, trembling and in shock. Minutes later, police cars started swarming the area, followed by my father. Looking around, I realized how much damage I could have caused and how fortunate I was. I could have taken the lives of others, or even my own. On the quiet car ride home, I was so thankful everyone was alive. To conclude, the speed is something that should be taken in moderation. All speed. We have gone over my early days in life, as well as my delightful nightmare of a story. I will close with my most favorite yet ignorant quote of all time by Jeremy Clarkson. Speed has never killed anyone. Suddenly becoming stationary, that's what gets you.